Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
Well, we had all kinds of big breaking news today, and what we're going to do here to open up the Infowars Nightly News tonight is we're going to take a look at the other side of these news stories, try to figure out what they're not saying, what they're not talking about. Of course, that always seems to be the story in this day and age, does it not? Let's start off with the big one, the big bomb. U.S. drops mother of all bombs, it's now called Moab, on ISIS. America's most massive non-nuclear weapon is used for first time in combat on caves in Afghanistan. You know, I will just say this. We don't know if this bomb hit caves in Afghanistan or not. At least I don't know that. So we're taking Trump's administration at his word. Just remember, this is, of course, coming out of the Obama administration, we would not have taken with a grain of truth. Of course, we got to see the actual video of the bomb being released from the plane and then the parachute shooting out and the bomb going down towards Earth. We then got to see the explosion as well. So they did drop an explosive and blow it up. And we're told that it blew up some ISIS tunnels. Now, it hasn't been reported how many civilian deaths, if any, there might have been. Depending on who you follow for news, you're going to hear conflicting stories there. I'm not going to pretend like I know any of that. I'm going to wait and find out what comes out with the facts. But what we do know, again, is that Trump did have his generals, I suppose, in Afghanistan drop that bomb known as the mother of all bombs. Now, this, of course, comes on the heels of the airstrikes in Syria. Dozens, in fact, of U.S. missiles hit air base in Syria. So not too far from one another, you hear of the U.S. airstrikes in Syria. You then hear of the Moab bomb in Afghanistan. Now, what they're telling you is we Moab bombed, we hit them with the mother of all bombs in Afghanistan, we're targeting ISIS. What they're telling us is we hit the Syrian air base because, well, Assad chemically attacked his own people. That's what they're telling us. But you know what? Let's think about what they might not be telling us. Now, this is actually just breaking. Of course, this has been a developing story, but it's just breaking now. U.S. may launch strike if North Korea reaches for nuclear trigger. So now the story is a preemptive strike might be in order against North Korea. Trump or his generals may be thinking about a preemptive strike. How would they know if Kim Jong-un is reaching for the nuclear trigger? I guess if a missile goes off. I'm not really sure what type of intel they might be getting to know what Kim Jong-un is up to. But now the story is there could be a preemptive strike if North Korea reaches for the trigger. So that leads me to the first other side of the story. You look at these two bombings, and if you don't take them at face value, which even as a supporter of Trump, I still don't take what the government tells me at face value. Well, you got to think, what is the real motive? If he blew up the airstrip in Syria that was working less than 24 hours later, what was the real motive? What was the real motive for dropping this bomb on this ISIS tunnel that we knew about that we haven't decided to drop a bomb on in the past? And then you see the story about North Korea. Perhaps these bombings, or the bombing and the missile strike, perhaps this was a bit of an intimidation factor. Perhaps this was Trump and the U.S. military flexing its muscles in the face of China and, more importantly, in the face of North Korea. You have the airstrike in Syria. You've got the bomb in Afghanistan. Now, all of a sudden, the story is, well, we're on the lookout for a preemptive strike on North Korea. Maybe you're trying to instill a little fear into Kim Jong-un. Maybe you're showing Kim Jong-un you're not messing around. Maybe that's what's on the other side of this story. Maybe that's the real motive. Maybe that's the 4-5-60 chess, or whatever it is everybody wants to think Trump is playing. Maybe that's the brinksmanship. It would make sense if he can actually do something about the dictator in North Korea. But the story now is waiting on a possible preemptive strike. Now, there's another angle to this that they're not talking about. Alex Jones actually did briefly mention this, but it has, for the most part, gone unmentioned. Daily presidential tracking poll. This is something that amazes me, but throughout history, when a president is low in the polls, they bomb. Literally, I don't mean they're bombing in the polls. I mean they literally drop a bomb. Trump was struggling in the polls. Airstrikes in Syria, bomb in Afghanistan. Polls are going up. Is this a polling strategy? Is Trump bombing for a higher rating? Again, this is something that's been done throughout history. This is something that's happened in real time now with Trump. Was that part of the agenda? Was that part of his 4D chess? I don't know. But we have to look at the facts here, and we have to recognize that that's something that is very, very possible. Let's move on to a new story developing today. Republicans want Sessions to take a fresh look at Lois Lerner. See, they're not buying the Obama Justice Department's investigation into Lois Lerner. And Representatives Kevin Brady of Texas and Peter Roskam of Illinois, they're requesting that Jeff Sessions take a new look at the case for prosecuting Lerner. Of course, this is like requesting, I guess, when Comey gets out, the next director of the FBI to have a new look at the investigation into Hillary Clinton, because we know Hillary Clinton is guilty. We know that Lois Lerner, with the Sugar lookalike haircut from No Country for Old Men, is guilty. We've got the evidence in the eye of public opinion. With the evidence that we've seen, they would say that she's guilty. But here we go. They want to take a fresh look into Lois Lerner. Now, here's Lois Lerner's response. Lois Lerner demands secrecy, blames death threats over IRS Tea Party targeting. Of course you would want secrecy, wouldn't you, Lois Lerner? You wish that everything you did was in secret so that you couldn't have been caught breaking the law, using the IRS for your own political agendas. Or I don't know, maybe not your political agendas. Maybe it was Obama's political agendas. Who knows? Maybe it was Obama's handlers' political agendas. But we caught you red-handed, showing clear favoritism to liberal or left-leaning tax-exempt organizations while ignoring conservative tax-exempt organizations. But you're wanting secrecy and citing death threats. Give me a break, Lois Lerner. You want secrecy because you know that you're guilty and you don't want this to get out into the public. You want to squash this. But here's the story that they won't talk about. Could this set a precedent where you go back and you start to reinvestigate anything from a previous administration that you don't trust? Is this a precedent that the American people want to get behind? Or is this a dangerous precedent that could just open all types of investigations into anything and everything of all time? Maybe that's something we need. I don't know. I'd like another investigation into 9/11. I'd like another investigation into the Kennedy assassination. But does the Lois Lerner opening, or Jeff Sessions opening a new investigation into Lois Lerner, set a precedent for all new attorney generals or for all new administrations to say, hey, look, there was some serious corruption here. The current administration or Justice Department or whatever powers that be looked the other way. We need to make another investigation into this because something is afoot. And I think that the potential of another investigation into Lois Lerner has her shaking in her little pumps, probably paid for by the tax dollar, that she might be, well, caught red-handed, but this time actually have to face some justice. Now, this goes on, kind of the same story with Susan Rice. Trump has said that Susan Rice most likely committed a crime for the unmasking. Now, it's been funny what's been going on with Susan Rice. I think that she's shaking in her space boots as well, because first she didn't know anything. She didn't know nothing. She's never heard of anything. Then it was commonplace. Of course I got it. I do this all the time. And then, of course, you had other media outlets kind of going through the timeline of events, which basically means that it was Susan Rice that did the unmasking. Regardless, again, Jeff Sessions perhaps coming after these Democrats that have been colluding and breaking the law and been getting away scot-free under the Obama administration and James Comey. It goes on, confirmed. IRS targeted patriot groups under Obama. So again, this is indicting Lois Lerner. Of course it was confirmed, folks. We already knew this. Are you surprised that James Comey didn't want to indict Lois Lerner, didn't want to indict Hillary Clinton? Who would be surprised by that? But this is under the Obama administration, illegal targeting, using the IRS as a enforcement wing of your political agenda, folks. That should scare all Americans. This is actually one of the biggest stories, if you think about it. Using the IRS to target political groups, folks. That is Orwellian to a T. And this went on during the Obama administration, which makes me think, where has Barack Obama been? Barack Obama has been on a deserted island. You know what's convenient about that deserted island that Barack Obama has been on? He can't get extradited for crimes. Huh. Now, they're saying, of course, he's going to come back to America. That's what they're saying. But he's been on that island laying low for some time. You haven't heard much from him, have you? Well, we'll get to that in a second. But again, could Obama be avoiding the law? Could Obama be hiding out on an island to avoid extradition, to avoid prosecution? Could Trump be waiting for him to return? I don't know. I'm trying to get to the other side of this story. But you have to admit, with everything that's come out with Susan Rice, with the Obama administration wiretapping, and now with Lois Lerner, the fact that Obama is still laying low, staying silent on a deserted island has to spark some questions. I thought Obama was in this for the long haul. I thought Obama was going to do everything to stop Trump. But he's hiding out on an island now? Could he be avoiding the law? Could he be avoiding justice? Could he be avoiding extradition? An interesting story. Wait a second. We are hearing from Obama now. I'm sorry. Obama does have something to say. The Pittsburgh Steelers, a football team, had their owner die. Now Obama has something to say. Shocking. For the first time in weeks, I'm hearing from Barack Obama. Obama praises Dan Rooney as a model citizen and a good man. This is today from Barack Obama. So Obama's ignoring everything that's going on politically, all the controversy that's coming from his administration. He's laying low on an island to write his memoirs, is what he's saying. But he surfaces to talk about football. Shocking. Shocking, Obama. Nothing to say on Susan Rice. Nothing to say on Lois Lerner. Nothing to say on the airstrikes in Syria, the bombing in Afghanistan. No. But you've got something to say about football. Strange how that works. There's your president. There's your past president, folks, Barack Obama, hiding away on an island from all of his past troubles, only to comment on football news. Now, here's one for the record books, folks. Joe Scarborough says that Ann Coulter and Sean Hannity are on Putin's side. The leftist liberal nuts cannot get over their Russia claims, even though it is so absurd, zero evidence, and now Trump and Putin are feuding possibly over World War III. But they still can't get over this Russia thing. This is what Joe Scarborough said. Vladimir Putin has learned the same thing about Donald Trump that Jeb Bush and Hillary Clinton did. He's unpredictable. No, Joe. When are you going to learn? Ann Coulter, Sean Hannity, myself, Alex Jones, we aren't Russian agents, bro. We beat you in the election fair and square. You just can't come to grips with that. You can't come to grips with the fact that you told everybody and their moms that Hillary was going to win by a landslide, and then she lost. Even though she tried to cheat from every angle, she still lost, even colluding with your own news organization. So I got news for you, Joe Scarborough. Read a headline. Recognize, even Rex Tillerson just said, Russia and U.S. relations aren't strong right now. You're still such a clown that you can't get over your Russia claims. You can't get over you lost the election. You can't get over your Russian claims. So you're looking under every rock to try to find some reason or some way that Trump and Putin are colluding. So now you're just saying, well, Putin put Trump in office, but now Putin's learned that Trump is unpredictable. Joe Scarborough will never learn. This man is an absolute, he's a fake news anchor. That's what it comes down to. Now, here's the new thing. This comes from the Sun. Some of the times the Sun seems to be good. Other times they have stuff like this, which just makes you scratch your head. Sick trolls claim Syria gas massacre was a deep state false flag operation designed to trick Donald Trump into war with Syria. Yeah, and then we have all kind of evidence for that. They try to hate on Paul Joseph Watson in this article when, look, folks, here's the deal. All we're doing is pointing out facts. It couldn't have been sarin gas. Why would Assad gas his own people? And this just so happens months after McCain is there, just like in 2013. What about all the actors, all the fake videos we saw? So, again, this is not sick trolls claiming that Syria gas massacre was a deep state false flag. This is real Americans, real patriots, trying to get down to the truth because we know we can't rely on fake news to do it, and we just use facts and evidence to reach conclusions, unlike Joe Scarborough, who sticks his head up his own butt and then tells you the scent of whatever he smelled. That's his conclusion. We'll be right back.
This is one of the biggest secrets out there. The missing link of why our ancestors, whether you were in Africa or ancient Albion, which is England today, why our ancestors were so much stronger. I mean, there are huge archaeological reports, all sorts of anthropology studies, you can look them up for yourself, that show that humans, just an average farmer of 10,000 years ago in England, was stronger than Olympic athletes today. In the final equation, everyone knows our modern society has lost its vitality. The sperm counts are down like 90%. People are falling apart. They're totally depressed. They're unhappy. What is going on? Every ancient culture was obsessed with what I'm about to reveal to you. Today we call it bone broth, and for thousands of years our ancestors enjoyed its benefits before it became lost to our modern diets of processed junk. That's why I'm so excited to announce the product that is undoubtedly the jewel in the crown of Infowars Life products. Caveman. We lost our vitality because we just ignored the ancient traditions. Everyone knew that you used all the parts of the animal. You used the skin to cover yourself or for shelter. You used the meat for sustenance, the fat for cooking, but you used the bones for strength. We are now introducing Caveman by InfoWarsLife.com, the ultimate in true paleo nutrition with bone broth, turmeric root, chaga mushroom, and 7 total primal superfoods in a single great tasting formula. The bone is so amazing. From the outside structure full of minerals and key cofactors to the marrow that produces the blood for the body. This is the engine of the life essence. I've made a lot of important points here, but this is the one you need to research for yourself because it's so key. High-quality bone broth helps support healthy muscles and connective tissue, while the active compounds in turmeric do battle on the cellular level and help fight free radicals. And collagen is essential to aid healthy tendons, ligaments, and muscle tissue. This is an absolute win-win. You get an amazing product produced right here in America. You support Infowars and all we're doing to promote freedom and the restoration of our republic and promotion of freedom worldwide. The journey towards better health and giving our bodies these amazing compounds that God created starts at InfoWarsLife.com. 3 years in the making, incredible research, and the very best ingredients. I'm Alex Jones, and I may not be a caveman, but compared to these trendies out there in the street, I'm as close as it gets. Join me at InfoWarsLife.com and get your caveman formula today.